Okay, so I call this like Student Checklist 1A Part 2. This this part addresses number 10, to complete the research plan project summary following the research plan project summary instructions and attach them to this form. So on the second page of the 1A form are the instructions of how the student is to fill out their research plan. Now, note number 1 says all projects must have a research plan. Every year we hear students say, oh, well, we didn't think we needed it. We thought we only needed it if we had to do pre-approval. Research plans are required of every student project. And the main reason why is because if students are doing projects that involve, humans or PHBAs or projects that need pre-approval, people need to read the research plan that the student is planning on doing so they can approve it. I call your attention to the Form 1, which we talked about. Number 2 says for the adult sponsor that I have read the student's research plan and approve of what they're doing. So you have to read these research plans before the student starts their experimentation. Right here, number 1, written prior to experimentation. So make sure the student does this. They should follow the steps on number 3. Those steps are the research plan should include a rationale, which is just a brief, a paragraph that pretty much kind of gives their background information of what they learned and then what's leading them to come up with this idea. Part B is their actual research question and hypothesis, goals, outcomes, expected outcomes, if they have any, should be mentioned there, probably again in a paragraph. Now, Part C, the procedures. Now, I think that on the research plan, it is much, much easier for everybody involved that has to read this plan if the student does this in numbered steps, numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way down through whatever number they need, and the procedures should be they should be procedures for the experimentation. So we shouldn't see stuff like number 1, get your notebook out. Number 2, get your pencil out. We see that all the time. Just stick to the procedures for the experimentation, and it's a lot easier to read if it's done appropriately. There should be a discussion of risk and safety. If there's any kind of potential risk or hazards that the student might incur, they should be mentioned and discussed on how they plan on staying safe. A data analysis. This is just a brief discussion of okay, when the student's all done, what are they going to do with their data? They're going to make graphs, charts, lay things out in pictures, make timelines. What is it that they plan on doing with their data to show their outcomes? Also, a bibliography is required. This bibliography should be formatted in MLA or APA format. It should not just be a list of websites. We see that all the time. It needs to be, if it's a website, it should say what the title of the website, should have the date that the website was accessed. It can't just be www.google.com. Okay, it needs to be more than that. So look up APA MLA formatting for bibliographies. There's even software out there that does it for the student. Makes the bibliography for them. Down at the bottom, okay, so this is really, really important, especially for projects that are coming in for pre-approval. If the student is doing anything to do with humans, human subjects, human research, they have to address all of these A, B, C, D, E, and F. All has to be addressed in their research plan. There's quite a bit here. You know, how the participants, who's going to participate, how they're going to recruit, their methods, their risk assessment. All this needs to be addressed in the research plan prior to experimentation. Students who are doing vertebrate or animal research, they need to address A through F here in their research plan prior to experimentation. Potentially hazardous biological agents. We're talking about mold, fungus. We're talking about single-celled organisms, what have you, that are not exempt from studies. And hazardous chemicals, activities, and devices. And I mean, hazardous chemicals, it's pretty much any chemical other than water. Students should list MSDS sources in their bibliography for any chemical that you're using outside of water. Activities, shooting guns, shooting arrows, rockets, anything like, any activity considered to be dangerous or hazardous or somebody could get hurt on. Devices can be, power tools, what have you. So anything that the plan is using, that needs to also be addressed in the research plan.